Sabbath, children of Israel. My name is Lily of the Valley, and I'm bringing you greeting in the name of Jehovah our Creator and Jesus Christ of Nazareth, our King. And this lesson is to all the children of Israel scattered abroad, believers, saints, and today we're looking at a topic called idols, because people started worshiping idols in the earth, and that's something that leads to destruction. So idol, I'm reading from the Nelson Quick Reference Bible Dictionary. Idol, an image or anything used as an object of worship in place of the true God. And the true God is Jehovah, Iehova. For short, he's called Yah or Ayah or Ayam. So when we say we're Jaja children, that's short for Jehovah's children, or Yah's children, or Ayah's children, or I am's children. And he's the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything in it. He bans the worship of idols. Okay, so among the earliest objects of worship regarded as symbols of deity were the meteoric stones, which the ancients believed to have been images of the gods sent down from heaven. From these they transferred their regard to rough, unhewn blocks, to stone columns or pillars of wood in which the divinity worshipped was supposed to dwell, and which were consecrated like the sacred stone at Delphi by being anointed with oil and crowned with wool on solemn days. Of the forms assumed by the idolatrous images, we have not many traces in the Bible. Dagon, the fish god of the Philistine, was a human figure terminating in a fish, and that the Syrian deities were represented in latter times in a symbolical human shape, we know for certainty. When the process of adorning the image was completed, it was placed in a temple or shrine appointed for it. So that's one, what that look like. So you can look at Jeremiah 12:19, Wisdom of Solomon 13:15, 1 Corinthians 8:10. From these temples, the idols were sometimes carried in procession. That's Jeremiah 4:26 on festival days. Okay, so idolatry, strictly speaking, denotes the worship of deity in a visible form, whether the images to which homage is paid are symbolically representations of the true God or of the false divinities which have been made the objects of worship in his stead. So if you look at Exodus 20, the Most High said no images, no idols. We didn't grow up with idols or images or pictures or Christmas trees. And that's because our foreparents were Puritans. They read the Bible and they practiced it as it was written. History of idolatry among the Jews. The first undoubted allusion to idolatry or idolatrous customs in the Bible is in the account of Rachel's stealing her father's teraphim, Genesis 31:19. During their long residence in Egypt, the Israelites defiled themselves with the idols of the land, and it was long before the taint was removed. Joshua 24:14, Ezekiel 20:7. So I'm gonna skip over most of that. So just know idolatry, don't do it. So the Hindus, that's one of their idols, and they are one of the most idolatrous and polytheistic. You have the Buddhists, you have so many. You have the idols of Arabia. You have the Phoenicians. They worship the planets, all those things with idol names. You got to look into the origin of them. Okay? So idolatry is banned. And the punishment for idolatry is, let's see where that is. It's in 1 Samuel 15 verse 23. It's a political crime of the greatest character, high treason against the majesty of his king. The first and second commandments are directed against idolatry of every form. Individuals and communities were equally amenable to the rigorous code. The individual offender was devoted to destruction. Exodus 22 verse 20. His nearest relatives were not only bound to denounce him and deliver him up to punishment, Deuteronomy 13 verse 2 to 10, but their hands were to strike the first blow when on the evidence of 2 witnesses, at least he was stoned. Deuteronomy 17 verse 2 to 5, to attempt to seduce others to false worship was a crime of equal enormity. Deuteronomy 13 verse 6 to 10. The attractions of idolatry. Many have wondered why the Israelites were so easily led away from the true God into the worship of idols. 1. Visible outward signs with shows. You got to look up Tertullian on the shows, the circuses. Avoid all of that. The movies, the pageants, beauty pageants, carnivals, Mardi Gras, things like that. Parades have an attraction to the natural heart, which often fails to perceive unseen spiritual realities. 2. But the greatest attraction seems to have been in licentious revelries and obscene orgies with which the worship of the Oriental idols was observed. This worship, appealing to every sensual passion, joined with the attractions of wealth and fashion and luxury, naturally was a great temptation to a simple, restrained agricultural people whose worship and laws demanded the greatest purity of heart and of life. So yeah, when you see those movies and the flashy everything, it has to do with also idolatry. Those people also call themselves stars and celebrities, and those things lead to destruction. It leads to death. So we're gonna paste put a lot of links on the nations and how their idolatries come about. And a lot of it also has to do with the fallen angels, the synagogue of Satan. A lot of the people who call themselves Christians, but they have statues, pictures, charms, groves, busts, statues, obelisks, all those things are idols. They're just everywhere. So you can look at the Book of Enoch as well. It's at sacred-text.com, and you can see how the fallen angels taught the earth to be corrupted with idols and spells and godliness and enchantments, root cuttings, knowledge of the clouds. You see them doing the geoengineering. They're doing the mix genders, the multiple this. All those things come from the fallen angels, and it makes the world wicked. And when the earth is wicked, everybody mourn, people, animals, and everything. So stay away from idolaters, stay away from false prophets, stay away from teaching. Know the origin of what you worship. If it looks like it's a whole bunch of orgies and sex and nakedness and carnival and degeneracy and robbing and raping and stealing and multiple wives and threesomes and foursomes and orgies or whatever those things are, fornication, multiple marriages, serial divorces. Yeah, you can know those things come from the um the doctrines of Satan, because the Most High already tells his children not to participate or to do those things. So with that, I'm saying shalom, have a blessed Sabbath. And we're going to look at a lot of how the idolaters too have infiltrated the countries of the children of Israel. And when they come with their mixed marriages, their idols, their culture, it corrupts the man, which is why the Most High say, don't make marriages with them, don't covenant with them, don't contract with them. It's for a reason. Shalom.